Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Robyn MacKillop with Get That GED, and today we are going to start graphing. Big part of the GED math test. It's actually kind of fun once you get going. There's a lot of little pieces to learn at the beginning, but you'll be okay. We'll get them. All right, let me switch cameras and we'll get started on. All right. So this is your coordinate box, and you've got 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of these little dots, you can either call it or an ordered pair. I think most math books say ordered pair. Same thing. I'll probably jump between ordered pair and coordinates. So whatever you want to call them, as long as you know that they're just marking a space on the graph. Then you have your x-axis that goes across. These never change. And it's basically a number line, positive on this side, negative on this side. The center would be 0, and that's where the y-axis meets the axis. And these never change. And really y is just an upright number line. There's your positive, there's your negative. So let's take a look at, and we'll do this more and more. This will start to come together if you are new to this. And for some of you, this may be purely review, but we'll get through it and get it done. All right, so down here, we've got ordered pair. This particular publisher puts way too much stuff in this. It really should look like this. 7, 8. Not the plus signs. The negatives you'd have to have, but you don't ever need the plus signs. If you have a number with no sign, assume it's positive. And what we need to know about a ordered pair the first number is always from the x-axis. The second is always y. That will not change. And what that means, we bring our graph down, we're going to find this number on this line. So find your 7. There it is. Then you're going to find 8 on the y. So here's 7 on the x, 8 on the y. We're going to bring those two lines together. And we've got u, coordinate u, or with the ordered pair, they led us to the coordinate u. And that's all you're doing on this page, is you're finding the label for each coordinate. So let's try -2, 4. So we've got -2. Was that +4 or -4? -4. It's important to know which ones are negative. And so we're going to take a look at our square. We want to find -2 on x. Here's the x line. There's -2. And we want to find -4 on the y-axis. And there's 4. So we bring those two together and we land at M. Is this new to any of you, or is this old news?
New to me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It's
new
New to me
too.
too.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So hopefully this starts to make sense. And I've got more of these if you want more practice, just putting the coordinates in. And I did send everybody I think it's called Graph Character Cat. You'll be placing your coordinates. They'll give you a bunch of ordered pair, and you place your coordinates on the graph and it develops a picture. Oh, is it a little different, David? Interesting. Hopefully better. You can tell me, you can be the judge of that. All right, let's do -5, -5. So again, the ordered pair, the first one is always X. That's where you're going to find it on that side. I just wrote a Y. I said X and I wrote a Y. That's a brain freeze. So you always find the first number on this line and the second number on the up and down line. And since they're both -5, here is -5, whoops, -5 on X and -5 on Y. Bring those together. It's L, coordinate L. And we'll do one more and then I'll leave the others for you to do and we'll go on to the next one. So now we've got 9 and 5, +9, +5, which really just should look like this. We're going to find 9 on X and 5 on Y. So this time we're looking at the positive side. There is 9 on X at the very end. And we need to find 5 on Y. We take that across and our coordinate is C. Interesting, yes?
Yes.
All right. And I'll leave those other 4 for you to practice on. And then if anybody needs even more practice, let me know because I've got more of these kind of sheets. So this time on the second row or the second section, they want us to write the ordered pair. So we'll find B. And B is way up top. So what they want us to find this for each letter. So we need to figure out the coordinates or the ordered pair for coordinate B. We're going to start with X. So where does B lie?
Oh, but 3 and 9.
Perfect. Yep, it's 3 on X and 9 on Y.
I know why.
Yeah, that is your ordered pair for that particular coordinate. Then we have S. So we find S. We're going to start with X. What line, what number is S sitting on?
Negative 1.
-1.
Perfect. And what number is it sitting on when you look at the Y line?
-2.
Perfect. And that is your ordered pair for S. I'll write these so I don't have to move the paper back and forth. And then we've got R. So where is R? Gotta find it. There.
Positive was a 6.
So R is on what for X?
Great.
Yeah. What is it on for Y?
1.
+8.
So looking
It's
at
on
Y
1.
down. Yeah. Once you've got the number from the straight across the sideways line, the normal line, then you look for where it attaches to the up and down line. So 8 is X,
Great.
1 is Y. I think it's actually easier to look at this and find the coordinate than it is to look at the coordinate and find the ordered pair, just because it's easier to find the numbers first, but it'll all come together. So never fear. The last one we're going to do on this one is F. And where is F? Oh, right here in the middle. So we're going to figure out where F is on X. We're just going to go down. Boom.
5.
Yeah. And then we're going to figure out where it is on Y. So we go back to F.
4.
Boom. 4. Nice. It's interesting that this particular one doesn't have any in this quadrant. Interesting. And the last part of this particular sheet is you putting in the coordinate. So for V, they're giving us -6, -8. Write these down. It's easier if you can see them better. -6, -8 will be V. And then we'll do 5 and -1 for Y. 5, -1 will be Y. And G will be 7 and 3. And we'll do X. Whoops, X is -7, +5. All right. Get that out of the way. All right, so we're going to look at our table again. And remember, the first number is always X. The second is Y. So let's find -6 on X. That's going to be right here. And then we need to find -8 on Y. So we'll go down -8. Now we're just going to go straight across on both lines until we meet. Boom, right here. So I'm going to put a little dot. And this one we labeled V. So we just set a coordinate based on an ordered pair. This is probably the most common thing that you will do in graphing, is you'll have ordered pair and you'll need to place the coordinates. Let's do Y. Y is +5, -1. So X is going to be +5. Y is -1. We find 5 on X. And Y is -1. So it's going to be right here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Then we'll do 7 and 3 for G. So again, find 7 on X and then 3 on Y and let them meet. And right there, that will be your coordinate G. And the last one we'll do, hi Sultan, -5, or excuse me, -7 and 5. And that will be coordinate X, -7 and 5. So we're going to find -7 on X, and we're going to find +5 on Y. And then we're going to meet, follow the lines in. This is going to be coordinate X. What do you think about those?
It's not bad.
Yeah, they're kind of fun. And you can get some really good practice with the one called Character Cat. You'll end up drawing a picture. And it'll give you all of the ordered pair, and you just go one by one and you put your coordinate in, and eventually it'll draw a picture of a cat. It's kind of cool. But it's really good practice because, and then you can give it to your kids to do if you have children. Kids love stuff like that. And adults do too. It's more fun. If you can have fun in math, that makes a huge difference. So I sent you one of these. It's just 4 blank grids. And if you can get these if you can print yourself a pile of these somehow, that would be really helpful. If you know someone who has a printer, or if you have a school close by, like a community college, or if your kids are in school, you can ask the office if they'll print you off a bunch. I mean, print a ton of them, because you will use these over and over, and you need something to write on. You have to have a grid to write on. It's too hard to make your own. And you'll notice now the X and the Y are not marked, but X is always the one that goes across, and Y is always the up and down. And you can see this is pretty typical to have about a 10 grid. You've got +1 through 10, -1 through 10, and the same with Y. +1 through 10, -1 through 10. Now I'm going to show you some things about this grid. You can have questions like this show up. So this is something to keep in mind. These coordinates are numbered. This coordinate is number 1, and that's a Roman numeral 1. This one, it goes counterclockwise. This one is 2. Can't draw Roman numeral 2. This one is 3. And this one is 4. So the thing to remember is, look at these numbers, positive on X, positive on Y. That's where you start. That's coordinate 1, or sorry, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. You may very easily get a question where they may give you one of these, and they may say, in what quadrant is coordinate G? And they'll give you the ordered pair. So you have to go in and you have to find G, and it was 7 on X, 3 on Y. So it's going to be right here. G is in quadrant 1. That will be your answer. They'll probably give you, A, B, C, D like they do. And they'll be in order, most likely. And your answer will be A. Ugh, Roman numerals, not a good artist. So that'll be it. That'll be the question. And that's an easy question for you to nail. It'll take you all of 5 seconds and you'll be on to the next. So when you get questions like that, if you can answer them fast and easy, you're just gaining points, and that matters. Let's just do a couple of these. 5 and -1. So we had +5 on X, -1 on Y. So here, that comes down. Y. And I'm sorry that these copy the axes. They should never use X and Y for anything other than the axes. But that means this is in quadrant 4. Does that make sense? Hopefully I didn't lose anybody with that.
No, I think so. It's a little bit, but still a little bit confused.
It's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go in order. Normally, if you read English, you start here and go around. You go in a clockwise fashion. This one starts here and goes this way, counterclockwise. So it's
that's one thing I got it. But one thing I got it, that it is like X is crossway and Y is from up and down.
Yes.
And on the first layer, you will get 10 positive and then 10 negative.
Yes.
And on the right side, same as well, the X1, 10 positive and then 10 negative.
Perfect. And this
But
is
the one thing I didn't get, like, if that's 7 and 3, how you get the G? Because the 7 is also positive and 3 is also positive.
yeah. So you start with the X, which is 7. So find that on, let's do a clean one. Let's do it over here. Find 7 on X. So it's right here.
Okay.
And then we have to.
And always you have to start from the middle.
Yeah, always start from 0.
Okay. That's good.
And they should be labeled. You should not get a grid without labels, because it takes too long to have to count the little boxes. So they should be labeled like this. So you go to 7 on 3 on
the 3 on that side, and they match up there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Perfect. So, and if you get a question on the quadrants, you'll only have one.
And in case if that is like -6 and -8, how you get that negative?
So that is dealing with this part of the line and this part of the line.
Okay. Okay.
You've got the 4 quadrants. This one is all positive because X is positive, Y.
Yes. Yes.
This one's all negative.
Yes. Okay.
This one is negative X, positive Y. This one,
Okay.
positive X, negative Y.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is they will keep that order, X first, Y second. So deal
Okay.
with X first.
And then what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. And
Yeah.
this part you just do automatically. You have to become familiar with it though. And for many of you, this is new. So
Yeah.
fret if you feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much. There's a
Yeah.
lot, you'll get it. And the best thing to do when you're starting out is do these, because this will get you really comfortable with finding where a coordinate
And
goes.
always will be the question will be like as it's mentioned in the paper.
Say that again.
Like the mention in the paper, like the question will be on the GED test same as well.
Could be.
Okay.
They could give you ones like this, or they could give you very much bigger ones. And we will do, well, we'll do function boxes today. So we probably won't actually be doing a lot of graphing today.
Mhm.
But remember all the equations we did the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
We'll be graphing those. There's a reason I taught you those for a couple days, because you get to put them on a graph. And it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll seriously be fun. You'll like it. So these are just the labels. These are the things to remember. And you know, you
Okay.
look at this video, and when you're comfortable with this part, you're not really going to have a big issue with the equations. It's this will come to you pretty quickly. You just need a little practice. Do the cat. If you decide you want more, I've got other pictures you can create. And some people just want them for their kids. Once they've got them, they're like, can you send me all of them? My kids love these. So, all right, let's do some function boxes. This little thing right here, don't worry about any of this stuff. This thing right here is called a function box. And all that it is, whoops, that's not the one I want to write on. It is merely a depiction of several ordered pair. You know how we did, oh, this one's X. You know, ordered pair normally look like this. 2 would be the X, 3 would be the Y. This just holds 4 of these. That's all it is. You can see in this image here, 0, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, 4, 7. This is how you will normally see them. But there will be 1 or 2 function box questions. So I have to show you how to do these so you're not shocked when you get to the test. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
I don't want anyone saying, what the heck is this? I want everyone to say, you know what? I know how to do this, and I'm going to get the right answer. And if you do get one that you don't know, you don't have to stress about it. You'll be like, I know most of this stuff, so I don't care that I don't know the quadratic equation or whatever, or the probability, or whatever it is you don't like to do. There's always something that you won't like, and that's okay. And hopefully graphing is not it. Graphing can be kind of fun. All right, let me flip this. So the directions are sometimes very important. And I will say there are a couple of questions that GED does where the instructions are muddy. And so it's important to recognize the kind of equation you've got, because sometimes their instructions don't make sense. And that's maddening. The good thing about graphing is everything that we're doing, it's all part of a merry-go-round. So once we get through it all, you'll realize you can come in at any portion and get to the spot you want. Let's say you want to be here. You can come in here and get there. You can come in here and get to your answer. You can come in here and get to your answer. Their graphing is very circular. It doesn't have tangents where you have to do 14 different things, some of which dead end. It doesn't matter where you start, you can get to your answer no matter what they ask you. And that'll make more sense as we get going too. You know, next week, it'll probably make a lot more sense than today. So let's look at this. They say select 4 values for X and find the value for Y. All right. What they're asking you to do is create a function box. Sometimes they'll give you the function box all filled out. Sometimes they won't. And you don't have to make it all fancy if you don't want. I mean, just do it the way that makes sense to you. So we're going to start with number 1. And these equations are set up in slope-intercept form. We will deal with that next week. But this is what slope-intercept form looks like. Y equals 2 times X plus 1. And you'll soon recognize these equations as slope-intercept. Okay, so they asked us to select 4 values. They're letting us make the choice. We are going to fill in X so we can find Y. We get to choose X. This is a multiplication problem, right? 2 times X. I'm going to start with 0. I want these to stay low. I don't want to do a lot of heavy lifting. So I'm going to keep my numbers really low. I just selected 4 values for X. Now I'm going to plug them in. I've got 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1 equals 1, right?
Yeah.
When X is 0, Y is 1. These are all separate equations. We're going to use the X as 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Keep doing the equation. Plus 1 is 3. So when X is 1, Y is 3. Then we do the next one. You're doing a lot of repetition, but it helps it come together too. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So when X is 2, Y is 5. And then our last one is 3. What's that going to be?
They're going to be
7.
7.
Perfect. So does that make sense? We need to do a couple more of these for it to really gel. This can be confusing.
Yeah.
But they will tell you that they want you to select values for X if that's what they want you to do. And when it's a multiplication problem, keep your numbers really low. And then we'll get a division problem and I'll show you what to do with that. It just keeps it so your arithmetic is easy. And remember, your grids are only 10 by 10. So if you do big numbers for X, you're going to go off the grid and then it's a lot harder to keep everything in line. Let's do number 2. That is Y equals 2X minus 1. Y equals 2X minus 1. I'm going to make my function box. And again, you don't have to do all this drawing if you don't want to. If you have a good way of keeping track of it, do it your way. So again, we're dealing with multiplication. I'm picking low numbers. I'm gonna go 0, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did before. I'm gonna substitute the number for the first equation, substitute the 0. Then I'm gonna substitute the 1. Then I'm gonna substitute the 2. Whoops. Did that a little weird. And then I'm gonna substitute the 3. So I've got 2 times 0 is 0. So
Minus.
y equals -1.
-1. Okay.
2 times 1 is 2 minus 1. 4 minus 1.
3.
3.
And 6 minus 1.
5.
5.
Perfect. And it's perfectly okay to have negative numbers because what did we have before? We had negative numbers. It just means it goes into a different quadrant on the grid. Now, one of the things they said in these instructions was they wanted us to graph and connect the points. What they're saying is you take your function box. Let's do this one down here. Remember, these are actually ordered pair. 0, -1, 1 and 1, 2 and 3, 3 and 5. That means you're going to have 4 coordinates on your grid. So if we take the first one, x is 0. That means x is right here. Then y is -1.
Yeah, to the known part.
Yeah, we're going to go right there with our first coordinate. Then we're going to come back to our second. That looks blurry. Is that better?
It's 1 and 1. 1 left to 1 right.
Yes, 1 and 1. And then we'll do 2 and 3. So 2, 3. And then 3, 5. 3 on X, 5. Now look at that line. Does that look straight?
Yeah, straight and up.
Yes. And I'm terrible at drawing lines, so don't laugh because it'll be all over the page. I don't know why I can't do them straight, but I never can. Oh, that one's not too bad. It's a little messy. You just graphed this equation.
Okay.
You are almost all the way through graphing, believe it or not.
Mhm.
And the really nice thing is graphing is cyclical. So even though we have more to learn, this is what I mean when, if this is where you need to be, it doesn't matter where you come in the graphing cycle. You can get to that answer no matter what.
Mm.
It will take a minute for this to gel.
Yeah.
This is a lot of information already. So don't panic, we'll do more. It's interesting though.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some more of these. And function boxes really are just another way of putting it. It's a very
Just want to ask one thing, that the answer 3, like y equal to x over 2.
yeah. You want to do that one
Does-
already?
Yeah. Does that mean it is negative or it's positive?
It depends
it.
on the numbers you choose.
Okay.
Because again, you get to choose the numbers. So if we look at, are you guys ready for the division or do you want to do a few more multiplication before we get there?
No, just okay, that number 3 one, like that one. If the answer is like that, how you would do that?
It depends on what you choose for X.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Let's do a couple more of the multiplication, then we'll come back and do 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, okay.
They're not as common. For some reason, you tend to see the multiplication style much more often than you
Mean
do.
if there is no sign of a negative or positive, you can do it from either anyway.
Yes, you can do it.
And if there is a minus, and if there is a minus or there is a negative symbol, so you have to do it with a negative.
Or like number 7,
Like the 7, yeah, like number
Yeah,
7.
we've got y equals negative x plus 2. And I'm going to make my little function box. You guys are going to get sick of watching me make these little boxes.
Yeah, I think so. That is much better
Yeah.
to understand.
So we are going to pick, I think I didn't give myself enough room. We're going to pick 4 numbers that equal x.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to start with 0 because that gets rid of all negatives and all positives. It gets rid of numbers. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick 1 because it's low. But you know what else I'm going to do? Because this is negative, I'm going to do -1. And what else should I do?
Negative 2.
Regular 2 or -2?
Negative.
Right. Regular.
Let's do them both. You can do more than 4. You really only need 2. They'll tell you to do 4, but you can do all of this with only 2. All right, so we're just going to plug these numbers into x. So if x is 0 plus
Okay.
2, what is y?
2.
Yes. Y is 2. I should have made that one bigger.
Okay.
Small. If x is 1, we got to remember that we've got a negative. 0 doesn't, it's neither negative or positive.
Yeah.
But here we've got -1 plus 2.
1.
Yes.
Just 1.
No,
Now,
one is positive.
don't forget the negative x. And we made x -1. So this is -1 plus 2. What happens when you have 2 negatives in a row?
Is a positive.
Is it
Yes,
positive?
it is actually +1 plus 2.
3.
There are times you might want to use negative numbers if your x is negative because it wipes them out. And then the last one would be negative. X is -2 plus 2.
4.
Yep. That's going to,
If we make a mistake in the sign, the answer will be incorrect.
what will happen is your coordinates will not line up
Yeah, correctly.
in line and then 1 outlier.
Yeah, right. That's the
And you'd know the minute and this is why you only need 2, because if you've got 2 that are correct, if you just follow with a straight edge, you can make that line as long as you want. You only really need 2 coordinates to make a line. They like you to do 4. It's extra work. And then let's do the 2. So it's negative, but the 2 is all by it's +2. So this is it. Plus
Right.
2, what is that? For
It's
what?
2. It's
0.
2.
0.
Or 0.
Yes.
Positive, negative, 0.
And so now we've got our coordinates 0, 2, 1, 1, -1, 3, -2, 4, and 2, 0. And again, you only need 2 of them to make a line, but when we're doing this, you're doing it right if you place them all on the grid because your lines will be straight.
Yeah.
Let me grab and turn this around. So let's plot these guys. So we're going to start with 0, 2, which means x is 0, starts right here. Oh,
So y.
Hold on. There we go. That's better. So we started 0 for X, and we're going to go up 2
Up
for,
to
so that's our first coordinate. Then we've got 1, 1. So we start 1 on X,
yeah.
1 on Y. You can see already where your line is going. -1 and 3. So we're going to -1, 1, 2, 3,
Mhm.
-2, 4, -2,
2 and then 4.
perfect, and 2, 0. So 2 on Y or on X, sorry, 2 on X, 0. We don't go anywhere on Y, so we're right. And your line is straight.
It's straight, yeah.
Yeah, you have just graphed this equation. Nicely done. And this is just an organized version of this. If this makes more sense to you, you can write them this way. If you like the function box, you can make yourself a function box. Sometimes they give you a filled out function box, which is really nice. They'll fill out the X for you. So you just plug an X to the equation and find Y. And usually they'll want you to put it on a graph. And you can do that on the computer because you just have to put your cursor over the spot you want it and click, and you'll get it'll put a coordinate there. You won't be able to draw lines on the computer. They'll be perfectly happy with something like this, but you won't have that many.
You have to just point out.
Yeah, they'll just have you click and point, or point and click, and you'll get your coordinate. All right, let's do a couple more of these, and then we'll do a division one. The function boxes are kind of fun, I think. They're nice and organized.
That's easy way you can do it.
Yeah. Now this one, number 8. So whatever you multiply 2 by, you have to add 8. That's going to be way off on your chart because remember, generally speaking, it goes 10 to 10. These can go for infinity, but you will get a grid that's 10 spaces by 10 spaces. So this one can be ridiculous. It would be way off your grid. That means make X a negative number. Bring it down. So they're clever. They make you think. And we're not going to do this one because it'll be off grid, but that would be one where you'd say, you know what, I'm just going to do negative numbers for X. And at least you could keep it contained below 10. But don't worry about that now, because that is not something you need to worry about now.
Okay. But going on, if the number is 8 and higher, try to use negative numbers.
Yeah, because it's too big. You'll be drawing it's way out here. You'll be putting dots way up here and trying to make them all even.
You cannot.
We'll do one more. Let's do X minus 5. Or do you like the ones where you have to multiply?
Let's do number 14.
Let's do number 14. We've got Y equals X minus 5. So we're just going to do a function box for 4 X's. We're going to make up our own. And let's see, this one is interesting. It doesn't matter if we have negative numbers because remember, all you're going to do is plot them on this. So you don't really care if it's a negative because you don't have to do any fancy figuring for it. You just have to remember if it's a negative X, you go this direction, negative Y, you go that direction.
Just have to draw the straight pattern.
Yeah, the line will be straight no matter.
Yeah.
And so I would say just keep them low again. And it's really a good idea to keep them low when you're multiplying because you just don't want them off your grid. And so here you'd have 0 minus 5, which means y would be negative 5. If x is 1, then y
minus
is
4.
4.
perfect. If x is 2,
minus 3.
3, negative 3.
look at the pattern. That's the other thing. So we just went up by 1 for x. Well, look at y. Y is going down by 1, isn't it?
Mhm.
There's you could put in this number without even doing this. Negative 5, negative 4, negative 3.
Negative 2.
You got it. And that's the other thing about function boxes. They will often have a pattern. This is the pattern,
Mm.
but you'll be able to see them in the box. And you may have a question where they'll give you a filled out box and they'll want you to come up with this.
Mm.
That
Got
can
it.
happen. It's happened before. It's not common, but those tests, you know, they're kind of up in the cloud. And as you sit down and log in, a bunch of problems drop into your computer. So if you took the test more than once, you could have some of the same problems, but you'll never have the exact same test. If that makes sense. So there's one of these somewhere, and sometimes you get it and sometimes you'll never see it. So these are our coordinates. This is what we're going to plot on our graph. And I'm just going to do 2 of them this time. And I'm going to show you why you don't need to do all 4 if you don't want to. So we've got 0, negative 5. That means we're going to start at 0 for x. And we're going to go to negative 5 on y. It's right here. And the other one is 2 on x, negative 3 on y. So we just did 2 of them. This is what happens when you've got a straight edge. You can draw your line. It's going to go through those. Oops, see, not a straight line. And then if you wanted to double check, you could put a coordinate right here, because that should be crossing. It should be crossing 5, I think. And this one should be crossing probably negative 9. Anyway, you'll find your coordinates. We can try the other ones. 1 and negative 4, 1 and negative 4 right there. Look at that, right on the line. 3 and negative 2, right on the line. Well, if the line were straight. What do you think of that?
Pretty good.
Yeah, and that's why I always say it's cyclical. It doesn't matter where you start, you can get to the exact same place. And once you're okay with this stuff, it's going to be a breeze. There are 3 formulas. There's the slope-intercept form, the point slope form, and one other. And you can do everything with one of them. You don't have to use different ones, even though they'll tell you in the instructions, use this one. You can say, you know what? I like the one. I'm going to use the one to find all my answers. It's less stuff to crowd your brain. Let's try a couple of these division problems. There is a trick to the division problems. They are not difficult, but you can make your life easier. We've got y equals x divided by 2. Make my function box. X, Y. Now, do yourself a favor and make sure in this case, X is divisible by 2. If you do what we were doing before for multiplication, 0, 1, 2, 3, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, right? Here's 1.5. Don't do that to yourself. Keep them on the grid where the grid crosses. it's much easier for you. So that means let's just start with 2, because 2 divided by 2. So 2, 4, 6,
6, 8.
and 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2.
2, 2,
And look, you can see the pattern already.
3, and then 4.
Yeah. And then you just graph that. You've got 2 and 1. So your X is 2, Y is 1. Then you've got 4 and 2, 6 and 3, 8 and 4. Nice straight line. And you can keep it going. Because lines are infinite, they go forever. So even though we just make a partial line, this line technically goes forever. That direction and that direction. So we could put it on a big, big, big grid if we wanted to. Let's see the division again. They're actually easier than the multiplication. They're faster. It's crazy, I know. We expect it not to be. If we're dividing by 3, what do we want our?
So where it can be divided by 3.
Yes. Yeah, make it easy on yourself. 3, 6, 9, 12. And again, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And you can see the pattern already. And then you just graph those. Those are your coordinates. And you just pop them on 3 and 1. It looks really simple. Here, I'm going to do it on the same one with a different color. That was 3, 1, 6, 2. Yeah, 6, 2, 9, 3. 6, 2, 9, 3. Another straight line, but a different, look at this, it's a different slope. There's that word. What you're doing when you draw lines on graphs is you're finding the slope, you're finding the angle. Who knew, right? And both of these are nice straight lines with different slopes. That's it. You're just finding the steepness of a line. Kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting. All right, were there any more of these?
Can you send me the video and the worksheets?
Say that again.
Can you send me the video and the worksheets?
Absolutely. Yeah, got this. I sent you the whole packet for graphing because it's so
Okay.
important to be comfortable with it, that it's got the instructions and everything.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Robyn,
Yeah.
I didn't receive the sheets that you're already working on. So can you please send that to me? Is Betty sent my email?
I will make sure you get those. That's not good.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anybody else not getting? I'm trying to make sure they go out, and I will be, right now, everybody's getting the email. I'll send out a form so you can say, I've already passed this, so I will stop. Say you've already passed science. I will stop sending you science because you don't need it if you've already passed it. And but I'll send out a form for each person to fill out, and then I can make sure that you're getting just what you need and want, and you're not getting inundated with emails Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Like today, I kept attaching things. So I think you got 3 emails this morning, but it'll work. Oh, welcome, Jennifer. I hope you liked it. So that you've got some work to practice on. Make sure you do make sure you're comfortable with this page. And then give the cat one a try. That'll be on probably the first email for most of you. And if you can, get a bunch of these printed. If you can send them, email them to somebody who's got a printer, or
She did. Okay.
yeah, get just a pile of them, because you need them. And once you've got them, this is going to come even easier. It makes a big difference having these handy. So, all right, that was good. I like graphing. It's actually kind of fun. And there's more to learn. And next week we will do slope intercept form and the other two formulas, point slope, and I never remember what the third one's called because I don't use it. You don't need it, but I'll teach it to you, because I'm sure there's a question on one of the tests that says use this form, and you don't have to. And then that is practically it for graphing. And the next week we will do inequalities. And the week after that, systems of equations, and then quadratics. Everyone will be so excited.
Yes.
Systems are my favorite. They're confusing, and I don't like confusing. So if you need anything, just shoot me an email or a message, and I'll make sure you get it. I'm trying to make sure I get these videos out in 24 hours or so. And I will double check a couple of those emails, make sure I get everybody.
Dr. Robyn, I'm sorry. Where can I see the videos? On Facebook or YouTube?
They'll be on YouTube, and I'll send you the link via email.
Oh, okay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you for the class. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Yeah, you guys have some things to do. Draw the cat. The cat is the first step. All right. I will see you all. Well, I'll see some of you tomorrow for language arts, social studies.
Yes.
Stay for science. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you all soon.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.